Hey guys, it's Ryan from The Surfer's Journey. In today's video, I'm going to analyse some recent surf session footage to break down some of the key learning points from that session and hopefully you guys can apply it the next time you go surfing. If you're new to the channel, please follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Or you can follow us on Facebook to stay up to date with our latest hints and tips and events that we'll be running. But let's get into today's lesson of the week. So in today's video, we're going to analyse 3 different surfing sessions with 3 very different waves. We're going to have a look at 3 key lessons though that stayed the same across all of these different surfs. In this first surf, we see conditions that were quite good. We had 3-foot waves that were quite powerful and quite punchy from time to time. And I took out my 5.2 fish, which was probably the wrong board in hindsight. For example, when I took off on this wave here and I went to bottom turn, this wave had quite a lot of power, so I had a lot of speed coming into this and I felt like I couldn't pivot as sharply as I wanted to. I felt like that board was a little bit skatey underneath my feet. You can see here though that the wave fattened out a little bit, and that's where this board feels great, when the waves are a little bit flatter and a little bit fatter. On this wave here we see the same thing. This board felt great under my feet. A smaller wave, a little bit fatter, a little bit flatter, and the board felt like it had more control and it gave me the speed and that springy feel that I like. So the lesson here is making sure that you pick the right surfboard for the right day. And sometimes there would be a day like this where it could go either way. I could have potentially surfed a board that was a bit more performancy, but then on those smaller, fatter waves, it wouldn't have gone as well as this board. So it really depends, and you just have to make that decision on the day that you're met with. On this wave here, I want to talk about section selection. You can see that when I had that initial section, I went high on that section to try and get speed to drop down and do a big carve. But unfortunately, I kind of misread that section and it ended up being a lot fatter than it was. So in hindsight, it would have been better for me to do a couple of speed pumps and then actually hit this section here. Instead of going around it, I should have actually hit it. At the end of the day, it wasn't the end of the world and I was still able to perform this roundhouse cutback. But it would have felt better and looked better if I had have done a bigger turn on that bigger section. Another example of how we can optimize section selection is the turn that we choose to perform on that section. Now in this example here, you can see that I didn't fully commit to this maneuver. Instead of carving through and looking all the way back to the foam, I kind of looked straight down and cut that turn short. The reason I did that was because I thought this wave was going to keep running down the line and I didn't want to get caught behind it. You can see in this example here that I did the opposite. And on that section I carved the whole way through and went all the way back to the foam. That turn felt heaps better and it probably looked a lot better than on this wave here. So where you can, keep the board on rail and surf with more commitment. Your surfing will look better and feel better because of it. In session 2, we had 2 to 3 foot conditions that were much better suited to that 5.2 fish that I was on. These waves were a little bit fatter, but they didn't quite have the same height and speed and punch those waves had in session number 1. This meant that this board was perfect for this day. I was able to generate speed easily. I was able to glide over those fat sections with ease, and then when I was approached with a good section, I was able to push the board with control and add a little bit of spark into my maneuvers. In this example here, we reflect back onto section selection, and we can see this roundhouse cutback being performed on a steeper section, and that meant that my rebound section was bigger and more critical again, which meant that as I came out of that, I had more speed for the next maneuver. I spoke before about how we should always try and surf as committed as we can, take our maneuvers to the next level. And to do that, we want to look back just like in that carve. Don't cut it short. Commit more back to the foam and you're going to have a better looking carve with more speed, more power, and you'll be able to slide the tail when you want to. Don't underestimate the benefits of a roundhouse cutback. When performed correctly, they allow you to make the most of those fat sections. By rebounding off the foam, you then get a burst of speed as you come out. In that example here, I should have done a roundhouse cutback. You can see that section was kind of fat and flat, and because I didn't do the right maneuver, kind of ruined the rest of the wave. In this example here, we see the same thing. I'm performing a carve in a steeper, more critical section on that wave. You can see that I had more speed and it felt a lot better. But then when I'm approached with this section, I should have done a roundhouse cutback. But instead, I performed a snap carve with no speed on a fat section and it didn't look good and it definitely didn't feel good. Remember that where you look is where you go. And in this example here, we see an example of what happens when you look the wrong way. you can see I'm looking off the back of the wave. And because I was looking over the back of the wave, you can see that I've become slightly unbalanced. I wasn't able to slide the tail or even do a rotation. So it always pays to look down or look back when you're performing snaps, re-entries, or carves. This wave here demonstrates how we should use compression and extension to perform our maneuvers. You can see that as I enter this bottom turn, I'm compressing low, and I hold that compression as I go through that bottom turn. And as I start to come out and I'm heading to the top of the wave, you can see I'm starting to extend through my body, my legs, and my arms. I then compress again as I enter the top turn. And as I make my way through, you can see I extend my body and then I'll compress again to finish. So by using a blend of compression and extension, you'll be able to have more lively turns and you'll be able to have more success in your maneuvers down the track.
Guys, thanks for watching the video today. I hope that some of the lessons that we've discussed today will help you the next time that you go surfing. And if you have questions about anything, please email me at thesurfersjourney@gmail.com. Thanks guys, I'll catch you in the water.
The Surfer's Journey now has a range of apparel available, from beanies to t-shirts to hats and coffee cups. For more information on how you can place your order, email thesurfersjourney@gmail.com. Be sure to visit The Surfer's Journey and check out some of our other videos, surfing tutorials from point of view, from the air and from the beach, and detailed, honest board reviews. You can also follow us on Instagram where we post hints and tips.
At the moment, we are running a fundraising campaign to raise money so that we can purchase surfboards, wetsuits, and be able to cover running costs so that we can offer surfing lessons to first responders, veterans, and defence personnel here in South Australia. The reason why we want to do that is to promote a healthy habit of surfing and how you can use surfing as therapy to help improve your mental health and reduce stress. Our coaches will be first responders, veterans, and ADF personnel themselves. This provides a unique surfing experience where everyone is on the same page. We're from the same communities and we've all worked towards a common goal. This is a not-for-profit endeavour. Me and the other members of our management team do what we do in a voluntary capacity, which means we get no money for the time that we put in. The only people who get paid will be our surf coaches, and they'll get paid for their hours worked. If you'd like to donate, click on the link to our GoFundMe page. Every dollar helps. Thanks guys. Together, we can make a difference. Recently, I designed our Shield logo, which forms part of our Protector Series range of t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. All the profits raised from the sales of these items will be donated to the SAS Resources Fund and the Commando Welfare Trust. These organisations support veterans and their families from the Special Forces units here in Australia. These people have sacrificed greatly for the greater good of our community. And this is my way of trying to give back and say thank you. So the purpose of this is to help raise up our community of like-minded individuals who love to surf and also want to strive to serve the community in the best way they can. That's what this shield represents, that community. Email me at thesurfersjourney@gmail.com to place your order. Thanks guys, together we can make a difference.